The letter that arrived too late. The train arrived at the small town just before sunrise. The sky was still grey, and the air smelled of dust and rain that had not yet fallen. Few people stepped off the train that morning. Among them was a man named Kabir. Kabir carried only one bag. It was old but strong, like the man himself. He stepped onto the quiet platform and looked around slowly, as if he was searching for something he had once lost. The town had not changed much. The same small tea stall stood near the exit. The same narrow road led toward the market. The same old clock on the station wall ticked loudly, as if time had been waiting there all these years. Kabir had not been here for 20 years. No one on the platform recognized him. That was not surprising. Time changes faces, and people forget those who disappear without explanation. Kabir walked out of the station and into the town. The streets were almost empty. Shopkeepers were just opening their doors. A few dogs slept near the roadside. Somewhere far away a temple bell rang softly. Kabir stopped in front of a tea stall. The man running the stall was old, with white hair and a calm face. He poured tea into a glass without asking. "You look like someone who has traveled far," the old man said. Kabir nodded. In some ways. The old man studied him for a moment. "Are you visiting, or returning?" Kabir took the tea and held it between his hands. "I'm not sure," he said quietly. After finishing the tea, Kabir walked toward the older part of town. The buildings there were smaller and closer together. Many of them looked tired. At the end of a narrow lane stood a house. It had a small gate and a mango tree in the yard. The paint had faded, but the house still stood strong. Kabir stopped in front of it. This was the house he had left 20 years ago. He opened the gate slowly. It made the same sound it used to make when he was young. Inside the yard, the air felt heavy with memories. Kabir walked to the door and knocked. For a long time, nothing happened. Then the door opened. A woman stood there. Her hair had turned grey, but her eyes were the same. She looked at Kabir for a long moment. "Why are you here?" she asked. Kabir lowered his eyes. "I came to see if this place still remembered me." The woman stepped aside silently and let him enter. Her name was Asha. 20 years ago, Kabir and Asha had loved each other deeply. They had planned a future together in that very house. But one day Kabir had left town suddenly. He left without saying goodbye. He left without explaining. For years, Asha had waited. Then she had stopped waiting. Now Kabir stood in the same room where they had once talked about dreams. The room looked almost the same. The same wooden table. The same window facing the mango tree. Only the silence had grown older. Asha sat down across from him. "You disappeared," she said calmly. Kabir nodded. Yes. Why? Kabir looked at the floor. There was a letter, he said slowly. But I never received it. Asha frowned. What letter? Kabir reached into his bag and pulled out an envelope. It was yellow and worn. This one, he said. Asha took the envelope and stared at it. Her hands trembled slightly. I wrote this 20 years ago. Kabir nodded. It reached me last week. The room became very quiet. Asha opened the letter carefully. Inside were the words she had written long ago. Words filled with hope and fear. In the letter she had asked Kabir one simple question. Will you stay, or will you leave? Kabir spoke slowly. I never knew you wrote this. I thought you had already decided I should leave. Asha looked up sharply. Why would I decide that? Kabir sighed. Because of my father. Asha remembered immediately. Kabir's father had been a strict and powerful man. He believed Kabir should leave the town and work in the city. He believed love was a distraction. One night he had given Kabir a choice. Leave the town, or lose everything. Kabir had chosen to leave. But before leaving, he had waited for a message from Asha. Something that would tell him to stay. The message never came. Now he knew why. The letter had been lost. 20 years of silence had started with one missing envelope. Asha folded the letter slowly. So you left because you thought I wanted you to? Kabir nodded. And you stayed because you thought I abandoned you. They both laughed softly. Not because it was funny. Because sometimes life becomes too strange to understand. Outside, the wind moved the leaves of the mango tree. Kabir stood up and walked to the window. I built a life in another city, he said. A good job. A house. Everything people say they want. Asha watched him quietly. But something always felt unfinished. Asha looked at the old letter again. I also built a life, she said. But not the one I imagined. Kabir turned back toward her. Did you ever hate me? Asha thought for a moment. No, she said. But I stopped trying to understand you. Kabir nodded slowly. That seems fair. The afternoon passed quietly. They talked about small things at first. The town, old friends, people who had moved away, people who had passed away. The sun slowly moved across the sky. As evening approached, Kabir stood near the door. I should go, he said. Asha looked at him carefully. Where? Kabir hesitated. I'm not sure yet. Asha walked outside into the yard. The mango tree cast long shadows on the ground. You know, she said softly, that letter asked a question. Kabir looked at her. Yes. And after 20 years, you never answered it. Kabir smiled faintly. That's true. Asha handed the letter back to him. You can answer it now. Kabir looked at the paper again. Will you stay, or will you leave? For a long moment he said nothing. Then he folded the letter and placed it in his pocket. I spent 20 years leaving, he said quietly. Asha waited. Kabir looked at the house, the yard, the tree, the woman who had once been his future. I think I'm tired of leaving. Asha did not smile, but the silence between them felt different now. Not empty, just open. Night slowly covered the town. The station clock continued ticking. The same tea stall closed for the day. And in the small house at the end of the narrow lane, two people sat under the mango tree, talking quietly. Because sometimes the most important answers in life arrive very late. But if the right people are still there to hear them, they are not too late at all.